need this shit to work. Alright, need a lobotomy. Relocate to a place they only speak Taiwanese. This is the mainstays hip hop is
good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to this shit's Raps. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube signing off and imitating. Never duplicate. Superstar Terry Vicious and going over Raw this week. It was in the ThunderDome. Oh, not gonna lie, a lot of big news broke today. Well, can't say a lot. Two big things broke that was big news. One being, news broke this morning as of the time of this recording, the morning of this recording, I should say. NBC Universal struck a deal with WWE, and their streaming service Peacock is now going to be the home of the WWE network, which means you're pretty much going to be, which means all the stuff that's on the WWE network is going to be ported over to Peacock starting in March. Now, this is just for US customers. So, for everyone in like Canada, Mexico, England, Japan, Switzerland, and all that shit, they're still good. They still got the straight up regular old network. Us Yanks, though, are going to be getting this shit. So basically what it means is, well, one, WWE wound up getting that deal to the tune of $1 billion with a B, which everyone's obviously been making the jokes. Some are probably taking it to heart about Vince lining his pockets with it. Here's the thing, though. I don't claim to be the be-all, end-all, know-all of business, but I'm smart enough to know what I know, and what I know is this kind of business, the money goes directly to the company. Now, is Vince going to get kickbacks from it? Yeah, but it's not like the bigwigs at NBC are writing a check directly to Vince for it. What it is, that money's going to get put into the company, which then can be used to pay talent, to get better ring equipment, to facilitate various things for matches, such as steel structures, cages, medical equipment, things like that. Is Vince going to get kickbacks from this shit? Yeah, no doubt. That's always the case with any kind of business deal. But for fuck's sake, not only that, in a way, it's also a benefit because if you think about it, again, it's just US customers only. WWE has always been tailored and marketed at $9.99, no matter what. That was their big sell point. Now, Peacock offers two tiers for payments. One's the $4.99 one where you get ads, but you still get everything. And then you get the premium version, which is $9.99 with no ads. So, if you want to do the $4.99, you're basically going to be paying $5 to be able to watch a Raw from 1997 and then watch the pay-per-view that night, and then immediately following that pay-per-view, you could then go and watch Saved by the Bell. I don't know about y'all, but that kind of sounds like a fucking win-win for people that are heavy into TV binging, And if you are gonna want to stay within the $9.99 bracket, then fucking A. Not only are you skipping the ads, you're adding more content to what you have available instead of having to go and download a whole other fucking app. So, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah. Now, also news did break that rapper Bad Bunny is going to be performing at the Royal Rumble, and there's no shame in my game, and I hold no bones about it. I have no idea who the fuck this dude is. I know he did that rap where Booker T just stood there, but that's about it. That's all I know. He did that rap with Booker T. That's all I know on him, honestly. I mean, Christ, if you couldn't tell, my taste in music varies. While I do listen to some rap and hip-hop, I am not fully... I know next to nothing on it, But yeah, either way, music guest, that's cool because that brings in outside fans to see it. Like, oh hey, this guy's gonna be doing this? Oh, well, maybe I'll check it out. You know? That's all. Now that we're done with the news, let's switch gears, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Whew! Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce got his comeuppance from Roman because what it was, Paul Heyman issued a challenge to him via a verbal contract, which is legal in the state of Florida, to one Adam Pearce for a fight, which then Adam Pearce did graciously accept. And as Paul was making his way to the ring for the match, he then did the very same thing Adam Pearce did. Went, don't, and then got a mic. Don't worry, Mr. Pearce. Just as you said, card subject to change. And then out came Roman, and Roman put a whooping on Adam Pearce, which then Kevin Owens came out and then put a whooping on Kevin Owens put a whooping on Roman. Now, other big highlights of the show, Sami Zayn stole the fucking show. He stole the show last week for SmackDown. I don't want to say he hijacked, but what he did, he came down, he literally handcuffed himself to a guardrail and was at the entryway holding up the sign, Justice for Sami, for pretty much a good portion of the night until the end of the Big E versus Apollo Crews match, which Apollo won, being a bit dirty. But, yeah. Other than that, other big highlights, Bayley and Bianca Belair had their little obstacle course challenge, which I gotta tell you, as far as obstacle course segments go, that was probably my most enjoyable one to see. That's about all I can really say on it. Yeah. So with that said, now that we're done talking about that, let's get into this week's show. And Raw, Raw, it started out with Drew McIntyre making his triumphant return to Raw, thanking everyone for his get well wishes. He talked about on how, with COVID, he didn't really get his ass kicked too much. He lost his sense of smell and he was a bit fatigued. But within a matter of 4 days, he was back to training and he was back on his feet, getting ready for his match with Goldberg at the Rumble. And then Miz and Morrison came down, taunting him, talking about on how Miz is going to cash in, he's going to win the title off of them. And then Goldberg came out and pretty much summed up his, not only the mic skills he had back in his heyday in WCW, but the great mic skills he has now. And this is an exact quote. You, me, the Rumble, this Sunday, you're next. That pretty much sums up on how skillful Bill Goldberg is. And I give respect to anyone that's willing to go and step into the ring for my entertainment, but that's about where I draw it. If I don't connect with you, if I just look and I'm like, that's about it. No different than I respect any actor who goes out of their way to go and perform in a movie. You're going out of your way to entertain me in that sense, whether it's an actor I like or I don't like. No different. But after that, Miz and Morrison, they were taunting Goldberg and McIntyre, which then McIntyre and Goldberg proceeded to whoop both of them. And then they had their stare down, which then we're done. So now we get to our first match of the night. It is Charlotte Flair. Whew, good Lord Almighty, Charlotte came out looking slain tonight. Going against Shayna Baszler, and this nice good back and forth until right out of nowhere, I can't say right out of nowhere, but until Nia Jax came in and did a leg drop on to Charlotte, and then they wound up then Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke came out to go and help, which then led us to a 6-women tag team match. Players, holla, 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 shades of Teddy Long. Teddy Long took over on that one. And we got a 6-women tag match, and it got restarted at what it initially ended with a count out, with Charlotte getting a count out win over Shayna, and then they went to commercial, and then when they came back from commercial, the match was restarted. Dana Brooke then became the punching bag, and Mandy Rose got the hot tag in, started cleaning up house, and well, I should say that it was a 6-woman match because at one point Lacey Evans came out. See, I fucked up on there. Botch! That one's on me. My bad. Lacey Evans came out to help with Shayna and Nia. And then at one point during the match, Charlotte actually chased Lacey out of the arena. And then it was left to Mandy and Dana going against Shayna and Nia, and yeah. So then they had their match. Match came to an end when Nia pretty much did like a Mortal Kombat like fatality where she had Dana up on one arm and then dropped her, and you could see Dana's head bounce. But I want to think about on how I want to word this. A lot of people give Nia Jax a lot of shit for, saying she's dangerous, she's unsafe, this, that, and the other. And take it as you will, whether you believe it or not. I'm not going to argue or debate on that. What I am going to say is, you go back and you watch it, you can see Dana Brooke was consistently moving around and wiggling as well. So, while you can make that argument about Nia, there have been compelling points and counterpoints for both ends on if she is or isn't safe. Dana was moving around a lot too, so she wasn't exactly bracing herself the right way. So, yeah. Next matchup, we got Slapjack. One of these days I'm going to get Slapnuts' name right. Going against Xavier Woods, and I like on where they're going with this. Having a whole, eventually, because having Ali being pissed off because Kofi took his spot 2 years ago at the Elimination Chamber and then won the world title at WrestleMania. Ali being mad and angry, saying that was my spot, that was my moment, I was supposed to have that, not you, and it evolving from that, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that is cool, and I'm all for it, man. It's giving history, and it's giving reason. It's a story that was built in. But, honestly, if I was Kofi, I'd just say, dude, you had your shot when you were in a Money in the Bank match, but you just sat there and stared in awe when Brock Lesnar came down and then proceeded to whoop everyone's ass and win the Money in the Bank. I'm just saying, if I was Kofi, I'd make that argument. But as far as the match goes between Slapdick and Xavier Woods, Slappy, he was leading early on into it until eventually, Woods started to build a small bit of a comeback, wound up hitting him with a Shining Wizard, got the win, 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of Retribution proceeded to do a beatdown on him, and then Ali had a chair just as it looked like he was about to go and crack it over his skull, stopped, opened it up, sat down, asked me a yin, give me a mic, had a mic, said, for somebody that proclaims to be wants to be king of the ring, you're down on your knees like a peasant. So let me talk to you as a king. Since Kofi isn't here, I'm going to hurt him the only way I know how, and that's by hurting you. So yeah, I'm all for this. If you want to keep doing this, and Kofi, they did announce Kofi's not going to be medically cleared to compete at the Royal Rumble, which I'm going to be surprised because now we're not going to have a Kofi spot in the Rumble. You know? That was one of the things I always looked forward to in the Royal Rumble, was seeing the random Kofi spot on how he miraculously survives being eliminated. You know? He did the handstands the one year. He tightrope walked the guardrails. Played hopscotch with an announcer's chair. Was body surfed from Adam Rose's little mosh pit crew. You know, now I'm just like, damn. How the fuck they gonna... They gotta fucking find somebody else to do a Kofi spot now. But, yeah. Either way, I'm all for it. Hopefully we can get a Ali versus Kofi match at WrestleMania. Just let this string out a little bit, you know? Because especially if you think about it, you get Retribution in the Rumble, not just targeting Woods, target Big E, and then proceed to, and I mean really, put Big E on the ass end of an ass whooping from it. Man, that'll help it. That's personal thinking now. Next matchup, we got Sheamus going against John Morrison, and Jimmy was pretty much powering over Johnny Nitro Morrison Mundo Impact Esquire the 23rd. You know, Morrison at one point started working on Sheamus's knee, but Sheamus eventually got the win doing white noise. After that, Miz then proceeded to grab a mic, challenge him, no, Sheamus, see, Royal Rumble's coming up this Sunday, so you got to keep your head on a swivel and be ready for anything. How about this? 2-on-1 handicap, me and Morrison against you right here, right now. Calling Sheamus out for another fight immediately after that, and Sheamus... Alright, come on, let's go. So now we get this. And now we got Sheamus going against Miz and Morrison. Miz and Morrison, they pretty much double-teamed Jimmy throughout the majority of the match. Sheamus, he did get some shots in on him, but... Excuse me. I talk about this every time in a handicap match, and I can't stress it enough. With simple psychology for a handicap match, man, you know, if you're doing a handicap, you shouldn't have the team that has the handicap lose. Otherwise, that just makes them look weak and inferior by contrast, because you're saying these two guys who have the advantage and could do whatever, couldn't beat this one person right here. Now, Miz and Morrison did get the win, and on how the win came to be, Miz hit the skull-crushing finale on Sheamus right after Sheamus popped Morrison with a brogue. So, but, just, I can't stress it enough. If you're going to do a handicap match, you know, simple psychology, simple playing to the strengths. Things like that. Next match we got was R-Truth going against Uncle Allen himself, AJ Styles, and this was another, you think you deserve to be in the Rumble? Well, step to me and we'll see kind of match. Now, and I can't stress this enough, man. I say this all the time. R-Truth is a goddamn national treasure. He needs to be cherished for all time. That's the honest gospel truth. Now, this had some good solid back and forth right up until the end when AJ, he got pissed off, Truth got one up on him, and then when he got in, AJ took Truth down with a drop toe hold, and then when he picked his head up, simple cinematography. They had the cameraman on the ground with the camera holding upward in an upward angle like this, with almost staring down at Truth, and Truth just looking like, oh, fuck. Yo, we cool, man. We cool. You know, simple cinematography like that portrays Omos to look even bigger than he is, you know? That's all. No different than the camera would shake when Earthquake would walk out, you know, to imply that he's that big, he's making the camera shake under him. He's making the camera shake with every step he takes. But match came to an end. AJ wound up countering R-Truth, doing what his childhood hero John Cena would do, and hit an AA and popped in the calf killer. And yeah. So next matchup, we got Matt Riddle doing a gauntlet match, and if he wins, he gets a title shot against Bobby Lashley for the US title. It's Riddle going against the Hurt Business. First up is Shelton Benjamin. Shelton leading for pretty much most of the match until Riddle, he winds up getting a quick, like, little, I don't want to say it was like a schoolboy roll-up, but I don't know exactly on how to describe this kind of roll-up he had, but he had a nice little roll-up on him. And yeah, after that, MVP got in. He got MVP in a heel hook, and then MVP wound up losing, which then led to Cedric. When Cedric was in there, man, Cedric put a pounding on him. The problem was, though, he was putting him down, but he wasn't putting him down to stay down. And that was where the big problem lied. And while I can see where everyone is mad thinking, no, we don't need friction in the Hurt Business, man. We don't need to see that, man. I don't want to see that kind of shit. I don't want to see that John going. Yeah, the Hurt Business is a good thing on Raw. Don't screw it up. However, in-house fighting. Cedric is the new upstart in there, so he's not going to know all the old ways. He's not going to know the tricks of the trade. So it makes sense. He's going to be cocky. He's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And you eventually make it to where, you know, they have to take him to school. And if that means they got to put him on the ass end of an ass whooping to learn, make him learn. But Cedric got in there. He was putting Riddle in a pounding. Like I said, though, he was putting him down, but he wasn't putting him down to keep him down. Now, the match came to an end when eventually Riddle, he was going for a triangle on Cedric. Cedric countered it several times, and then eventually went into twisted him around, hoisted him up, and then Riddle wound up coming down from it, and then did another same kind of roll up like he did on Benjamin. 1, 2, 3, and then yeah. So Matt Riddle got the win. And then after that, Bobby Lashley came down, boom, just straight up checked him like if it was a fucking hockey game. And I gotta tell you, Bobby Lashley and MVP really look like the only two dudes that look like they're there to actually do the business. You know, be like, no, we said we're Hurt Business? Okay. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna put some hurting on someone. I'm gonna make them scream for me. But so now we come to the main event of the night. Oh, my future third ex-wife, Asuka, going against Little Miss Alexa Bliss. And earlier in the night, Bliss did a segment which, both terrifying and slightly attractive at the same time. It's the best I can describe it. Now, Bliss early on enjoying getting hurt and mangled by Asuka, and then partway through, right out of nowhere, Asuka gets thrown to the outside. Asuka's out there shaking the cobwebs out. She turns around, looks like, huh? You see in the ring, Alexa sitting there on a wooden rocking horse like that, and just like, and all I'm thinking is like from Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own. There's no rocking horses in wrestling! You know? And yeah, it was just weird. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, and God bless. Yeah, WWE, again, doing the best to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. There's no crowds. So since there's no crowds, accentuate the positives, downplay the negatives. One of the positives they have, they can get away with doing a lot of this weird, campy cinema stuff on live TV. heaven forbid they pre-shoot some stuff in advance and then work around it, right? And that's what they did. They did that, then they proceeded to, then as Alexa was doing the rocking horse, they went to break, they come back, rocking horse, whew, magically disappeared according to Byron Saxton, but, you know, yeah, take what Saxton says with a grain of salt. Ugh. But afterwards, they proceeded to have the match again for a little bit until Bliss eventually got knocked into a corner, and then again, Bliss transforms back into her old self where she was the goddess. And then next thing you know, after that, she started doing a little bit working like that, and then turned into her creepy evil fiend self where black shirt, black lipstick, resting bitch face, hair pulled up, and it was just whoa. She got the mandible claw in and looked like she was about to go for a win when next thing you know the lights started to go. Lights come back on. Oversaturating lights. You see Randy Orton with his face all puffed and mangled looking from the burns. Standing right behind Alexa Bliss. Sizing her up. She turns around. She sees Randy and then Randy, boom, just pops her with an RKO. End of show right after that. Beautiful way to end it. Beautiful way to end it. Yeah. Now with that said, that is it for this week's show, folks. So please like on normal. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes if you can. Please look for me on the Twitter, Team Vicious. Also on that Facebook, give me Tim Ash. If you're gonna look for me on my Facebook, let me know you found me on there from here. On my Twitter at Tim Vicious on the keep John going. Also, big thank you to executive producer Ali Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. It's out there on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. It's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, don't forget to check out these cool ass cats right on the Twitter. Some Logan, Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, and Sergeant Curry Pants. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.